Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar, Empowering Rural Europe. This is the second webinar for this project, that is Sustainable Rural Future, and it aims to present the final reflections of this project, gather your opinions, and to connect people working in the same topics. My name is Natalia Spano. I'm from Low Carbon Economy Foundation in Spain. And Low Carbon is an NGO focused on adaptation to climate change and non-formal education. And today I will guide you through this session. So before we start and to go smoothly through this session, I will give you some recommendations. Please turn on your cameras if you can, because we want to know you, to see your faces. But this session will be recorded for dissemination purposes. So if you are agreed, please keep your camera on. Otherwise, feel free to turn it off. Also, keep your microphones muted unless speaking to avoid noises. And if you have questions, please raise your hand or do a question in the chat, because we really hope this is a dialogue, not just a one-way presentation. This webinar marks the closing of the Sustainable Rural Future project. That is an ERASMUS Plus initiative that brought together partners from Spain, Italy, and Slovenia for the past 2 years. The project is a KA2 project, and it's a cooperation partnership in adult education. And it's almost finalizing. It will end in December 25. It's managed by the Spanish National Agency and coordinated by us, by the Low Carbon Economy Foundation. In this project, we work with 6 different partners from 3 different countries. In Spain, we have Low Carbon Economy Foundation and the University Jaume I. From Italy, we have In Europa and ARCES, that they have extensive experience in rural areas and in European projects. And the University of Ljubljana and the Center of Sustainable Rural Development in Kranj, also Slovenia. So our aim during this project was to support rural areas facing the challenges of climate change, and knowing that you have more experience than us in this topic, but trying to connect some actors and to help these projects with participatory research, with training and creating networks. So the agenda for today is that you can know the key findings of this project through the whole activities. Then we have an invited expert from the University of Cádiz that he will explain the 3 pillars of the innovation, sustainability, and participation in rural areas that are the key topics for the green transition. And then we want this session to be interactive and practical, so we will show some results of the project and explore inspiring good practices, and invite you to join the European Rural Network that is going to continue after the project ends. So we would love to know more about you. So we will do a really short poll in Mentimeter. Please scan the QR code on the screen, or go to menti.com. I will also share the link in the chat. And if you cannot do that, you can raise your hand and maybe answer the question turning on your microphone. So please enter to menti.com or scan the QR code. Okay, so I will start with the first question. Anyway, you can enter the Menti with the code that is in the head of the screen. So the first question is, which country are you joining from?
Sorry. Okay.
Yes.
Can you come back just for a few? Okay, sorry.
Okay. Anyway, in the top of the screen, you have the code.
Okay, sorry, I didn't see. Okay, sorry.
But do it, and then I go for the first slide. So, what country are you joining from? As I mentioned, we are from Italy, Spain, and Slovenia, but during the whole process, we've been working also with other organizations. So we want to know, where are you from? Okay, a lot of Italy. Okay, excellent. Poland is really small, but I can try. Okay, thank you. We are creating a European rural network. So the idea is to expand our reach. And also you will see with the good practices map that we've collected a lot of initiatives in the whole Europe. So the next question is, what is the biggest challenge your rural area is facing? It's not a simple question, but maybe you can do a ranking about some topics. Or if you consider the real problem is not here, you can open your mic and tell us. Okay, low social engagement. That is one of the key topics of this project, that we are trying to tackle this low social engagement with participatory action research. Growth, okay. Okay. So growth is the biggest challenge, maybe in rural areas, and the low social engagement. Okay, excellent. And the last question is, 1 second. What skills do you think is the most needed in the rural green transition? What do you think you need for to be more resilient, to adapt to climate change? Okay, cooperation, diplomacy. Okay, this is very interesting. We can see some common skills coming up. Cooperation, It's the repeated word. Okay, Carlos, don't worry. If you cannot connect, if this is the last question. And if some of you couldn't put your word here, maybe you can open your mic and tell us what do you think, or maybe briefly comment why did you choose these words. Does anybody want to share something? Okay, excellent. This will help us to understand who is here today and what are the challenges you see in your territories. Thank you for that. Okay, thank you. Now, after this icebreaker, I'm pleased to give the floor to Barbara Grazzini from In Europa, our Italian partner. In Europa has a long experience in European projects and in innovative training on sustainability and behavior change. So today, Barbara will present the key results of SURF project and how these outcomes can be useful for rural communities. So Barbara, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Natalia, and welcome to everybody. It's nice to be here and to be able to share something about the project with you. Well, the project has not finished yet, so we are still working on it, okay? We are still collecting findings and preparing the final outputs. But yeah, I'm glad to share with you, where is it? Something that we have prepared, and especially I would like to share with you the actions we carried out and the process that we put into place. First of all, I would like to underline the fact that SURF deals with adaptation to climate change. So it's important to distinguish between mitigation and adaptation. So mitigation, is the effort to reduce the climate change causes, But adaptation is to take the situation and to adapt to the situation and to these changes, and to become more resilient and to protect our communities and to improve our ability to adapt to this new climate scenario. So let's see if my computer goes. Okay. So our big aim and the impact we wanted to create, and we still want to create. So it's a long process. In 2 years' time, we couldn't change the situations into the different rural communities involved in the project, and we are very aware about it. But what we did has been to create a process and to create tools which can be used in the different communities in order to have an impact and fostering resilience through shared knowledge, best practices, and collaborative decision-making processes. And in the Mentimeter, awareness, cooperation, were the most important terms that were highlighted also in this exercise. And also the social situation, which is very important and indeed is something that came out very often in all the different locations involved. You can see the sharing, right? You can see my screen, right? Okay, thank you. Okay, so what we can share from SURF are some documents which tell the stories of what we have done in the project, but also the methodologies and the approaches that we used. So now I'm going to concentrate very, very quickly. Sorry, I'm playing with this. On the first three elements and reports, which are important to tell the story of what we did. First of all, we started with a handbook. The handbook is a very practical tool which you can already download from the SURF website. And it's an introductory framework and a resource full of resources and the process that you can start within your communities, okay? And it is particularly focused on presenting adaptation measures and it's a tool which support the communities, so the trainers, the educators too, and also the local administrators to identify the risks in a cooperative and collaborative way. So let's say that the handbook gives us the elements which we put in practice into the different locations, and we reported into the challenges report and the initiatives report, which in which the first is the identification of risks, hazards and vulnerabilities of the different locations, and we are going to see which are the locations. And the initiatives report summarizes which are the strategies and main needs and opportunities that can be identified in the different locations. Connections report is still under construction, and the good practices and map guideline will be presented afterward. Let's see if it goes. Okay, as I said, so the climate change handbook for rural areas is a learning tool, okay? So it's a very practical guideline that you can follow and encourages for sure the discussion among the local communities. Then we, as I said, we have these reports, and what we did was the following. We started enhancing the knowledge about climate change into the different communities involved, detecting their needs and challenges. And then we, so together we collected also good practices and adaptation initiatives, which could be a stimulation of ideas and new strategies for the local areas. And then our aim, and that is also for the project sustainability after its end, is to create connections and to create this network of exchange of practices and experiences, which is the most important aspect of the project. So what we did, how we did this? We did we started in 2024 with launching the project in a first international webinar where we presented the handbook. We organized the local workshops in the 4 areas. We activated an online training course on participatory action research approach made, produced and managed by Jaume First University in Castellón. We collected, and we're still collecting good practices in partner countries, and we are creating the SURF European Network. These are the areas involved. So we have 2 areas in Italy, which are quite different. We have a northern part of Italy, the flatland, the lowland of Pianura Bresciana, which is in Pianura Padana. So it's the most important flatland in Italy. And then we have the province of Palermo, which is in Sicily, so near the sea, the inland part, the rural part near the sea. Then we have other 2 regions which are in Slovenia, the Gorenjska region. Forgive me for the pronunciation, please, my friends from Slovenia. Gorenjska, which is an alpine region. So has different characteristics. It is in an alpine space. It is not the lowland of Pianura Bresciana. So different morphological aspects and dynamics. And then we have in Spain, the province of Castellón, north of Valencia, the inland part, which is the inland part of a seaside, region. If from a geographical point of view, the University of Slovenia will correct me. In all these regions, we organized workshops focusing on identifying risks and vulnerabilities of these areas. And this happened by involving any stakeholder at local level. That was a very important aspect. We involved local associations, representative journalists, local farmers, public administrators, young workers, also young students at university representatives and professors, as you see, active agriculture advisor and farmers, experts from local government. So the added value of this operation was to have different people from different backgrounds at the same table. And there, using our methodology, the one that we explained well into the handbook, we asked people in group to work on the risks, to identify the hazards for their territory, their perception, which are the most relevant or dangerous hazards that they can think about in their area. We invited them to identify who or what is exposed to those hazards, and then the vulnerability, the sensitivity, who or what is more affected or can be more affected, most affected by this hazard, and which are the adaptive capacities already in place, which we can take into consideration. This is a way to enhance people, to invite people to think about something we usually don't think about. Maybe we complain or we immediately see what can be done, but without looking at what are the risks of our territories and what is already in place, which can help us to adapt in a better way. And also, we used the risk assessment table by asking people which is the probability, the level of probability that this risk hazard can happen in your area, and the consequence, the intensity of the consequences in the area itself, and which consequences can be there. So these are tools that you can find in the handbook and that we used indeed. Now let's go here. These are climate change hazards. Maybe they're not all the ones we can think about, but what I'm going to ask you kindly is to think about your area. As we said, we want to be interactive now here. So which of these hazards events is the most likely to happen in your territory, or maybe has already affected your territory? And to do so, I kindly ask you, let's see if it works, to annotate on the map. So you see here the map with the different 9 elements. If you see your screen, bottom left of your screen, you have like a pencil, a green pencil. You can click on it. You can open this menu and you can go on the stamp here, and you can put your X or the image you like, the stamp you like, on the other hazards or events which you think is the most likely to happen in your area. Several ways of doing it. Process. Thank you very much. I see many wildfires, extreme rains, droughts is flooding is the, if I count flooding, extreme weather events, yeah, I think the most, I need to count, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 is flooding. Yeah. Well, if we had more time, we could stay here commenting all this. I don't know if any of you wants to say something about it. Did this happen already in your area, or is it a risk and hazard that might happen in your area? If you want to unmute yourself, you want to say something about that. I see many thick in the title, but yeah. I see that many of them are in the flooding and extreme weather events, which of course then bring to floods and to droughts, the high temperatures, you know. So yeah, but this is the situation. So as I see, yeah, many of these can happen. So our areas, so lots of people live from Italy, but indeed we have many representatives from all over Europe today. So this is what's happening in our areas. And let's see what happened. So thank you very much for this. I'm going to make a screenshot. Do you want to comment? Does anybody wants to say something? I see in the chat. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 6, yes, for flooding to extreme rains, yeah. Yeah, let's see what happened and what came out from, sorry, I need to delete everything to go on. Thank you very much. What happened in our 4 different areas? So although we have different areas, different regions now involved, and they differ in terms of morphology, climate, history, and culture, the 2 most relevant common risks which have been identified are prolonged duration and severity of droughts and increased frequency and severity of floods. These are the most appointed risks, let's say, to find commonalities among the 4 areas. Of course, into the report, which will be soon available into the website, you will find the details and the answers of the different groups. And as you see now, the field tables. So similar effects are recorded in the different areas, where vulnerable actors are farmers, agricultural land and population, and animals for sure, specifically in some areas. Similar disruptions to natural resources, desertification, loss of biodiversity and ecosystem functions, and of course the threats to human livelihoods, farming abandonment. We have depopulation due also to these risks and events, and food poverty, etc., etc. So this was a way to make people aware of what can happen and what happened maybe in their area, and who are the most vulnerable elements within the area. And in the risk, so this was this selection of the 2 most common events was done by the risk assessment table, which gives you the probability that an event can happen and the consequences. So it's a way to propose and to think about it among the participants. So it's a good way to start a conversation among the participants. After that, collecting all the insights from the groups, the online course Participatory Tools for Community Development was created and produced by the University of Castellón University, and then we organized other workshops at local level to think about which strategies and which solutions, and especially to think about what is already being done within the areas in order to adapt to climate change. It's a very powerful way of getting people aware of what is already being done, and also what works well and what needs to be improved, and which are the actors, actors in terms of what and who need to be involved, what is still missing, which are the needs that are need to be collected and faced. So meanwhile, we started to collect good practices in Europe, not only in the countries involved in the project, but also from other countries. We launched this research of good practices, which will be presented afterwards. And this is a way of cooperating and exchanging experiences and enhancing the local communities to grow and to see what can be done. So as you see, some adaptation strategies already in place or prioritized, such as water management. So our local areas have already started to harvest the rainwater, to improve irrigation systems and water conservation techniques, sustainable agriculture. So it's important to work on climate-resistant crops, crop rotation, agroforestry, and infrastructure resilience, like green infrastructures, flood management, forest fire prevention, sustainable tourist development, and community engagement. This is one of the most important aspects that came out. So starting these local groups made of different people from different backgrounds allowed them to think about how to engage the community, whom to involve, youth involvement for sure, cultural activities to be improved for engaging people, educational activities, growing awareness, and participatory planning processes. So you see that this is a summary on education and awareness is to be carried out, sustainability, long-term environmental and social resilience, European network that we are doing, community participation, inclusive decision-making, and collaborative planning. This came out very strongly. And innovation, which is made by combining traditional knowledge, which is very important for adaptation measures, with new approaches. So SURF demonstrates that rural communities can successfully adapt to climate change through education, participation, collaborative action, and creating a foundation for sustainable rural futures across Europe. I think I went beyond my time, so I stop here. I don't know if there are questions or anything to add from Natalia and the project partners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara. Do you have any questions for Barbara? Anyway, we can do another question section for the end. So maybe you can think about this. We have an invited expert. It's my pleasure to introduce to Antonio Javier González Rueda. Antonio is the director of the Coordination Secretariat and Commissioner of the University of Cádiz for the Cultural Planning and the candidacy of the Jerez as European Capital of Culture 2031. He will present the topic Innovation, Sustainability and Participation in Rural Areas, perspective from creativity, culture, and heritage. So in his talk, Antonio will explore how these three pillars are the key to shaping resilient rural futures in Europe. So, Antonio, thank you very much for joining us today, and the floor is yours.
Okay, good afternoon. First of all, thank you for your attention, and specifically, congrats to all the partners, to all the persons that are involved in the SURF project, because the result, the outcome of this project are very, very impressive for me, and only with the short presentation of the colleague from Italy. Well, this presentation pretend to examine the interdependent roles of innovation, sustainability, and participation as crucial pillars for fostering resilient rural futures in Europe. Well, the point of view is addressing significant demographic and socioeconomic challenges in which the European Union has involved in the common agriculture policy. Well, within this strategic framework, the leader approach that probably you know best than me, with its revolutionary bottom-up methodology, empowers local action groups to drive local development. Innovation is conceptualized broadly, extending beyond technology to include cultural, organizational, and social solutions. Next slide, please. Well, the agenda of this short presentation is this for your outlook. We can start. Next slide, please. About me, well, I am a researcher from the University of Cádiz. I am specialized in cultural studies and in cultural policies, and I came to rural areas by chance, by serendipity, and I am currently moving, as Natalia said, Jerez candidacy to become European Capital of Culture. First of all, I am very critical of the current use of sustainability, innovation, and participation in rural areas. Excuse me for this approach, but thank you for listening to me today. Next step, please. Well, why rural matters? No. Well, today we will explore three interconnected pillars crucial for the vitality and resilience of rural areas. As I say before, innovation, sustainability, and participation. These concepts are not isolated elements, but rather pillars of an integrated and perhaps coherent strategic framework for rural development within the European context. The demographic and socioeconomic challenges, such as population aging, depopulation, and the income gap with urban areas, has driven the European Union to transform its agricultural policy approach, drawing insights from various local development strategies across Spain, particularly within the leader framework. We will examine how these concepts are being implemented. First of all, these three pillars, innovation, sustainability, and participation, tend to be bodies that are alien to the rural areas. Almost always, concepts are and practices brought in by people from outside rural areas. This generates initial mistrust and implication linked to the financing and its timing and method. Next slide, please, Natalia. Well, a diagnosis by excess, no? Perhaps. I think that we have in the rural areas usually empty innovation. We have apparent sustainability. And finally, I think from my point of view, obviously, soulless participation. I detect a huge gap between the language of the bureaucrats and the language of the rural citizen. Next step, please. This slide well, is a visual way to show you how this huge gap is strong. If you see the slide, you can detect all the descriptors, the hashtags that are involved in a rural project in the context of the European Union. Well, is this language the language of the rural people? Well, about the leader framework, the leader approach. Well, the Common Agricultural Policy has evolved from its focus on food security into a key tool for rural development. Its second pillar, the Rural Development Policy, used the European Agricultural Fund for the Rural Development to fund the leader approach. My particular research on local action groups confirmed their key position in the territory in helping local communities obtain EU funding to improve their quality of life and combat depopulation. Leaders' bottom-up approach ensures projects are innovative and sustainably adapting to local needs with community support. What is the operational challenge? Well, despite its strength, leader faces significant challenges. Bureaucracy is a major concern as it consumes time that could be spent on local projects. There is also a risk of consultant-driven design, which limit genuine participation. From my point of view, moreover, a lack of leader culture among the public hinder engagement. Projects are often selected for being easy to subsidize machinery, for instance, rather than for their broader impact on culture or heritage or social. We can be a fundamental mistake. Next slide, please, Natalia. Well, my presentation has this type of statement. This is from Javier Paniagua. Against the noise of the repopulation industry, the constant and silent word of local action groups has been the real support for many rural areas in Europe for decades. And if we truly want to repopulate based on social justice and sustainability, the way forward is not to multiply consultancies or outsource discourse. It is to support those who have been truly repopulating for years from the bottom up with no other interest than the common good. Because if there is one thing that is not lacking in villages, it is not inhabitants. It is opportunism disguised as a solution. Well, this is the first statement in the presentation. Next step, please. About how the innovation is cultivating in rural settings. For me, there are mainly two frameworks: European Innovation Partnership for Agriculture and leader approach. The types of innovation, the habitual mark is included by agrotourism initiative, orange or creative tourism, by economy and circular economy project, the renamed as a small village approach, research, development and innovation in a specialized sector, mentoring program. Well, this type of innovation show us that we have mainly three types of innovation. Hard innovation, that is the classical innovation, the technical. Soft innovation, that is the innovation is regarding with the creative element. And finally, that I think the very interesting innovation is the social innovation, when the population is included in the solution of the problem. It's important in this question the role of the new rural, because usually new rurals are the person that protagonize innovation in rural setting. Okay, next slide, please. Well, this is a statement from Rural Anonymous. The territory does not guide leader calls for proposal. On the contrary, it seems as if the territory is conditioned by them. This is how many bounty hunters arrive. Next slide, please. Well, about some cliches, some stereotypes about the rural. First question, are rural inhabitants citizens of majority age, or are they under tutelage of cities, urban universities, of public organization? Well, this is a question for discuss. And about the cliches, well, regarding with the sustainability, well, this is in the territory learning or teaching. About sustainability, usually rural practices, the traditional rural practices are more sustainable than other from the city, from the urban world. Well, it's an interesting question, no? About the innovation, is only technical innovation possible? What about social or soft innovation? And finally, about participation. What is we dislike? What is being asked of us? The discontent, no? The scale, few, and scatter can be an opportunity for decision making and local development. Well, next slide, please. From Rural Anonymous again, we are tired of being the object of a study. We want real change. Wow. Yeah, well, the multidimensional sustainability is the key pillar of the common agricultural policy, as you know, but usually is evaluated with laxity and with the idea that the computer platform can handle anything in theory, but in practice. Well, it's important that you think about the relationship between economic, social, and environmental aspect in the issue of the sustainability. Well, about leader, next slide, please. This is the leader approach. We have some principle. We have a diverse method to develop the participation, workshops, sectoral, stakeholder interviews, digital method. But the key challenge is perhaps is translating informal ideas into formal project proposal. That for me is the key of the majority of the project. The goal is ensure local development strategically reflect community needs and foster innovation. Well, this is the a leader approach. And this is, next slide, please, another statement from Rural Anonymous. Sometimes we feel like we are merely extra in a field with a fixed script. Regarding next slide, please. Some questions rather than conclusions. No, well, about bureaucratic burden on local action group. No, local action group managers disproportionately dedicate their time to administrative paperwork, significantly hindering their capacity for territorial dynamization. We have a second question, suboptimal participation processes. Usually participatory local development strategies often feature overly formal and rapid engagement processes which miss spontaneous, imaginative ideas that emerge in more informal settings, bars, squares, etc. Culture, heritage, and creative as a secondary activity, non-economic activity for the rural. For me, culture, heritage, and creation are perceived as supplementary activity associated with promotion or communication rather than core economic driver of investment. The rural territory are not only agriculture territory, are culture, heritage, and creative territories too. There are significant co-financing barriers, especially for the ONG from the rural world. There are a prioritization of private agents in this type of group. And finally, culture, heritage, and creative usually is regarding with the tourism. Well, and this generates some problems too. Generally, just are innovation catalysis agents. Young entrepreneurs in the primary sector demonstrate a long-term business vision, integrating traditional production with innovative approach. Well, this is the advanced conclusion related to this conference from the forthcoming publication that is called Culture, Heritage, and Creation, their impact on local action group, that is commissioned by the University Extension Program of Universitat Jaume I. Well, this is my presentation, my lecture, and well, thank you. And this is the presentation. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Antonio. I don't know if you have some questions for him, comments. Okay, maybe at the end we can. Yes.
If you can say something now, this is very related to the findings, and you will find this in the reports that we prepared. The local communities are the actors, and they need to be independent in working on this process. And you said something right about cultural aspects, which came out as the most important elements and power that can be used to adapt to climate change. And I would say that the process that we started is an empowerment process to let people understand what is already being done, which works well and can be shared in terms of also recovering traditional methods and traditional ways of working and ruling, not only related to agriculture, but as you said, and I want to underline this, on cultural aspects and social aspects, which are one of the most important aspects which came out from our research action project.
Thank you, Barbara, for this. My first words in this afternoon was congratulations, because I don't know how is your project, and with the presentation that you have developed at the start of the webinar, we have learned more about the project. And for me, very interesting your approach. Perhaps my lecture is very critical, but I think that we need a new approach in the rural territory, and specifically approach that truth generates from the own territory. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yes, Michelle, please open your mic.
It's me here? Okay. Thanks to the professor and to the researcher. I would like to say to Antonio that I work in Friuli Venezia Giulia, northeast of Italy, close to Gorenisca. And legs, the field of rural is not only a question of the legs. In the local action groups share the same field to us. For example, we are Comunità Montana, consortium of municipalities. As we are a little region, Friuli Venezia Giulia is nearly the province of Brescia, close, 1 million inhabitants, more or less. And Regione Friuli Venezia Giulia also has a role in the rural. And so the point, maybe the point which I appreciated is that maybe the role of legs could be turned back to its origins, which was not exactly just on agriculture, but on the integrated actions in a little land. And second, maybe the role of legs on culture and adaptation. This is what could be the most important role they could help, much better than a public administration. Thanks.
Totally agree, Michelle. And nice to meet you. The LACs have a key role in the future in the rural, because perhaps it's the best idea from the European Union about the rural. The methodology, the structure of this type of participation will be the solution for part of the challenges of the rural. But it's important that isn't a ban for the rural initiative. It's important that they contribute to the rural development, as you say. Okay, for me, and thank you for your
Thank you very much, Antonio, Barbara, and Michele. No, I didn't know that you were Italian. Thank you for your interventions. And now we move to a very practical part of today's webinar. One of the tools that we create.
Natalia, yes. Only a few words to say goodbye, because we are in Barcelona in the context of ODAR Congress, and we need to leave the classroom to other activity. And it's a pleasure for us to the opportunity that the webinar and the project. Okay, and congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, can I just, because I didn't know that you will leave us, so I would just like to say thank you for your very direct presentation, because it's good to hear some of the topics, aspects that are not like just polite, but they are about the true problems. And I also like that you underlined the problems in communication between, let's say, these some programs like LAC and the local people, and also about this new rurality, because rural areas have changed in the last decades. So we need to find a new way to communicate, but also to get lost of from this bureaucratization, because on one hand it burdens people who are working in rural areas, so they cannot be more effective, and also some people who would like to be active, but when they see all this bureaucracy, or the stereotypes of this bureaucracy from the programs, they get afraid, and so they don't get active in some actions in rural areas. So I think this is it's very important how to liberate, let's say, all these programs, all these processes from the bureaucracy, and to make it more practical. So thank you. It was very interesting and inspiring what you mentioned, and what you put in a very short time you describe it.
Okay, thank you, Uros. Thank you very much. Totally agree, okay?
Thank you, Uros, for the intervention. And thank you, Antonio. Now we will navigate for the tool that we've created in SURF project to showcase how the rural areas across the whole Europe are already responding to climate change. So Sara and Irma from the University of Ljubljana will present the Good Practices Guide and the interactive online map and how to use these resources. The floor is yours, Sara.
Thank you, Natalia. Good afternoon. Last 2 years, actors and stakeholders in rural areas of Spain, Italy, and Slovenia, together with SURF project partners, have been exploring how rural communities and rural localities perceive, mitigate, and adapt to climate change. In various local workshops throughout the implementation of the SURF training program and in daily communication with different rural communities, we have identified an interesting fact. In their everyday practices, local populations respond to the impact of climate change in different ways and develop interesting practices of perception, mitigation, and mainly adaptation strategies. We have decided to collect these interesting examples of such actions in different communities and in different rural areas and publish them. First, in the SURF Good Practice Guide. You can access it via QR code on the screen, or you also have a link in the chat. And shortly after our webinar, you can find it also on our SURF website. In this guide, we included only selected examples from SURF project partner countries, Spain, Italy, and Slovenia. Secondly, more examples we uploaded in the ArcGIS online browser. This is an interactive online tool. By using 2 filters, economic sector and type of hazard, you can explore in detail how rural communities across different European countries are responding to climate change. We have collected examples that address different economic activities in rural areas: agriculture, forestry, fisheries, tourism, sports and recreation, infrastructure, etc. We also collected examples of different adaptations to certain type of climate change or hazard. For example, change precipitation regimes and amount of precipitation, more extreme temperature regimes, floods, sea level rise, etc. And we also collected how different target groups, beekeepers, hunters, tourism providers, NGOs adapt their activities in changed climate conditions. With this, we also analyzed the functioning of different levels of governance, local, regional, and national, and their systemic and pragmatic approaches to perceiving and adapting to climate change. However, our ambition is to connect rural communities that are tackling climate change in various ways into the SURF European Rural Network. SURF invites different rural actors and stakeholders to join and co-create this network, exchange insights, and explore potential collaborations in the field of climate change mitigation, adaptation, and rural development. Now I would like to share with you the online browser. And I invite you to open it also on your computer and explore examples by yourself. We have already selected rich and diverse examples of and responses to climate change, more than 60 examples from rural areas across Europe. You can filter it here by selecting, for example, only agriculture and forestry examples, or only tourism and sports and recreation examples. In selecting the sectors and hazards, we had actually also to be practical. So we chose one predominant sector or hazard, although we are aware that different cases are or given practices is a combination of several sectors and hazards. The examples are presented in English and in respective local language and are written in PDF format. Well, I will stop sharing the online browser. And now it's time actually also for you, for an interactive exercise. We would like to invite you to explore this online browser by yourself and find a practice that is related to the project that you are developing, or find the practice that is relevant for your community. I will ask kindly Natalia to appoint you into smaller groups, and we will facilitate this conversation in these two smaller groups in two breakout rooms where we'll meet in a few seconds.
These rooms will have one person that is speaking Spanish, in Italian, and Slovenian. So if you are not comfortable to speak in English, you can do it also in your local language.
Excuse me, Natalia, could you please explain again where we can find the best practice or the practice we are more close to?
Yes,
Sarah, excuse me.
I'm sharing link into the chat here now. Once again, it's a link to the map directly. If you have still some problems, please.
No, I'm in.
Try to in the chat.
Yeah. No, I opened it, and then we click on one point, on one hazard.
Yes, click on one point, and you can open the PDF with a description of each case. if you would like to filter it by hazard or sector, you do it previously by selecting on the graph the specific sector or hazard you are interested in. Otherwise, you click on the point on the map and select an example. Please browse it a little bit by yourself, and we will discuss a little briefly in the smaller groups.
I will open the room, so please accept. Okay, I think everybody's here. I don't know if Irma or Sara, do you want to share something?
I have to admit that the participants were very talkative, and I do hope that they will interlink also after this webinar. This is the purpose of this. But I think now it's time to go to our last part, and we will share the screen with our colleagues from Arches, Sicily.
Thank you very much, Irma, and thank you. First of all, it's been a pleasure for me being here today with all of you. Thanks for the organizer, especially the lead applicant, Natalia. And I would like also to thank all the speakers, all those that attended this very relevant webinar. I'm going to talk about sustainability, and in particular, how to make this European rural network more sustainable in the future. Then I'm going to share the screen so that you can immediately. I asked the lead applicant, okay, the sharing, and perhaps I need authorization. Is it possible?
I think I've already.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Please let me know if you see the presentation.
Yes, not full screen, but yes.
Not full screen. I'm gonna put full screen. Thank you.
Ana mi je napisala, da ne bi bila rada izvana. Okay.
Can you see bigger? I hope so. Just a second. Now?
No, I think it's because you've shared the PowerPoint, but not. Yes, now it's okay.
Now it's better. Okay. So thank you. Thank you very much. So I am Alessandro Pernice, the head of unit of European program at Arches University College. Arches is one of the partners involved among the 6 partners in this project, Sustainable Rural Future. And we are responsible for the sustainability aspect, in particular for the creation of this European Rural Network, which is already a big network of an existing, let's say, platform that brings together organization, individual, I would say organization from the public and private sector that are committed to rural development across all the European Union countries. So the idea is that we can use such a network that, of course, gathered all these organizations in order to many countries of the European Union by, of course, connecting this organization, by connecting vocational educational center, by connecting academic researchers, research centers, and NGOs, and so on, to foster and promote sustainability and support climate change adaptation strategies. So this network it's a space indeed for a change of idea, a change of best practices among all the members and the newcomers, And we have already seen many best practices during the webinar, which were presented by our colleagues and during also the practical exercise. So the network, of course, is your network, it's not our network. The network will include all the educators from partners, organizations, from stakeholders, from other centers, as I said, from rural communities, individuals that would like to, let's say, share their best practices or their, let's say, practices just on how to face climate change in their rural area. So I think that you can benefit from this network, which already counts 50 members. And it's very an easy task to become a member, as there is an invitation letter that we can, of course, send to everyone and all those who are interested. And there is already a space, a dedicated Google form for individuals. So it's extremely easy to become members and join the network and take some benefit. As I say, more than 50 members are already registered. And in this stakeholder map, they are classified also by status, NGO, academics, association, foundation, and their name and their activities. So very big. Of course, this network through this virtual space will guarantee the sustainability of the project. Indeed, thanks to the members registering the network, we will, let's say, try to expand the knowledge acquired, the expertise already demonstrated through the project, and we will also foster our approach in many other countries in the coming years. So thanks to the participation of other partners, members, stakeholders located in other countries, we can enlarge, we can expand our offer in terms of knowledge, in terms of best practices, visions. And so the idea and the main goal is to grow a dynamic and collaborative network of professionals, individuals, students, learners, institutions that can share their good practices focused on this adaptation and mitigation strategies for climate change. Partners are very well committed, and they will be, through the support of ARCES, of course, very much motivated in this specific charge of making this project sustainable. First of all, we are also responsible of the project website. So this network will be placed as well as a permanent space in the project website. Membership invitation letter will be sent to all those who will require to become a member, to the newcomers. There is also a very relevant LinkedIn group, which will invite individuals, professionals, and will be offering a space for continuous exchange and collaborations among all those who are interested in presenting their practices, in also promoting new ideas, new projects towards this common goal. So the network will also use the very well structured interactive surf online map, which was already presented by our best colleague, Sarah. And, you know, there will be a space within the European Rural Network that will include such an interactive surf online map, which already shows case studies from different parts of Europe, but this can be enlarged also through the support of the newcomers, the new members that will provide with the network new practices and so on. So new members, all of you are strongly encouraged to contribute not only within this webinar, but also in the future by contacting ARCES and contacting the partner to become members and so show their example of climate adaptation and climate resilience practices. So each partner is very well committed also in creating in its own project website, official website, a space which will include also the European Rural Network, so that we will, in this case, enhance the visibility of this network. And there are, of course, many benefits. I give you just a few examples of the benefit. First of all, you can have access to high quality materials produced within the framework of SURF projects. We are talking about training materials, which means a lot of research, case studies, the best practices guide, all the toolkits that were developed during the project. And this is for free, educational material for free. There will be also the possibility of being involved in some visibility and dissemination activities. And so the members could also share their best practices, share their, let's say, activities coming in this in this new programming period. Then there will be the possibility to also join new project proposal, new project that we will submit under the framework of the research program, as well as the Interreg next programs. So you can become partners of a small proposal or even large scale projects. There is a possibility to enjoy the peer exchange and the knowledge among the participants, share the challenges at territorial level and the solutions you provide for your challenges. So there is also a very big benefit that is linked to the professional development, as learning opportunities can be also promoted through the network. ARCES, just to give you an example, as one of the vet center, which is currently carry out many training in these directions. So you can listen to this training, public notices, and then you can apply for. Thank you very much for that, and I remain available for, of course, your questions if there are, as well as for your, let's say, request of membership at any time you wish. Thank you.
Thank you, Alessandro. It was really helpful. And you will receive a follow-up email with today's presentations and with all the links to be a member or with the practical tools, so don't worry. And I know we are out of time, but I will send a poll that it's just 5 questions that if you want to answer, it will be really useful for us to improve our results. Let me see if you can see it. And in the meantime, I want to thank you for your active participation in the Zoom rooms and with your comments. And it was a pleasure to have you all here and share experiences. So keep in touch and please continue our collaboration in the rural network.
Thank you.
Do you want to say something else, a comment, a question?
Perhaps, Natalia, we might share with our partners a very important news that the final event of our project is scheduled for October. Natalia, will you go with the details?
Yes, of course. Or Alessandro. We have a final event in 28th October in Palermo, Sicily. And the idea is to have a lot of talks and interactive actions and create a common space to work together in these topics. So you are invited to participate. We are going to be some partners and some external participants. So you can ask for more information. Alessandro, I don't know if you want to add something.
I just want to say that we are more than pleased to host anyone who would like to join us for this event. It will be, let's say, blended, most online and in presence. So also those who want to come to the ARCES office in Palermo in the city center are very much welcome. And of course, there will be many more opportunities in the future. Not only this event, but additional new events that will be advertised through the European Rural Network in the future. But of course, please take your time to think about this coming event for the end of October here in Sicily and online as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody.
Let's thank all of you, the lead applicant, and of course, all participants from our side. Thanks a lot.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you all.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.